spent in a miserable way.
U.S. news poll finds Trump shouldnt declare emergency to build border wall. 2/3 of Americans oppose President Trump declaring a national emergency if Congress do it. Most survey respondents, 73%, also said they want Trump to continue negotiating while keeping the government open, rather than forcing another shutdown when funding expires again in mid-February. A congressional Trump has said in recent days that negotiations are a waste of time because Democrats are. Republican lawmakers appearing on Sunday morning political shows pushed back on the prospects of an emergency declaration, saying they want the border funding issue to be settled through the normal appropriations process. Senator Richard Shelby of Alabama, chairman of the Senate Appropriations Committee, said that while Trump has the power to declare an emergency, it would probably have to be decided by the courts. While 66% of Americans in the CBS survey opposed Trump declaring a national emergency to pay for a border wall, half of Republicans said he should demand funding, even if it means another government shutdown. 65. The survey was conducted by Governor using a nationally representative sample of 1,596 U.S. residents interviewed online January 28, 31. The margin of error, Florida. Michael Ertl, who was Florida. For those who have not received a personal apology yet, I am. Ertl also said that someone made the photos public out of revenge. His tipped. Ertl tipped. Before being appointed Florida. Day scientists announced last week that Circuit Judge Laurel Lee would replace Ertl. Virginia Governor Ralph Northam is under pressure to resign after his medical school yearbook page was made public, showing a person in blackface and a person in Klan regalia. Northam said he would. President Trump has dismissed the prospect of Secretary of State Mike Pompeo leaving his post to run for a Senate seat, even as Pompeo has signaled that he is open to the possibility. In an interview with CBS, I asked him the question the other day. He says he's. The Washington Post reported last month that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell personally courted Pompeo to consider running in a telephone call, according to two people familiar with the conversation. Pompeo later in the interview with CBS, Trump said, "Well, he may have spoken to him, but I think he loves being Secretary of State." One of the people familiar with Pompeo. Senate Republican leaders and their allies contend that Pompeo, who represented Kansas in the House before joining the Trump administration, could clear the Republican field in the contest for retiring GOP Senator Pat Roberts. While Kansas has been a reliably red state in statewide federal races, Democrats have made recent inroads there in state politics, most notably with a victory in the 2018 governors. The GOP faces a more difficult nationwide Senate map in 2020 than the party did in 2018. Senate Maine Republican U.S. Senator Susan Collins had the best fundraising quarter of her career after she delivered a pivotal vote that helped seat Brett Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court, according to documents filed with the Federal Election Commission. The Bangor Daily News reports that after announcing her decision to vote in favor of Kavanaugh, the records show that of the nearly $900,000 Collins received from individual donors who contributed more than $200 to her campaign, just $19,000 came from individuals with Maine addresses. She said the campaign received many contributions from Maine that were under the $200 reporting threshold. In the quarter before her Kavanaugh vote, Collins raised $140,000. Collis, 2019 Boston Globe Media Partners, LLC.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.